Look at this split screen. On the left, we have a baseboard covered in protruding nails, cracked joints, and smeared brown caulk. On the right, we have a smooth, clean white finish that meets the floor with a sharp, professional edge. Reaching this finish requires a specific sequence of preparation, caulking, and painting. By following these steps, you can take a neglected piece of trim and make it look like a high-quality architectural feature. To achieve this, you need a specific set of tools. You'll need a dripless caulk gun for precise pressure control and a tube of paintable siliconized latex caulk. These two items are the foundation of the entire system. Avoid using straight silicone caulk. Silicone is designed for wet environments like bathrooms, and it is completely unpaintable. If you apply it here, your layers of paint will simply bead up and peel away from the surface. Professional woodwork is a matter of strictly following a physical sequence. It begins with clearing old debris, sealing the gaps, and applying layers in correct order. Step 1 is clearing the canvas. Sink protruding nail heads below the surface of the wood. A spring-loaded nail set allows you to accurately snap these old nails deep into the trim without risking damage to your wall. Next, extract the old caulk. Make a geometric cut parallel to the wall's vertical plane. Rotate the blade 90 degrees and make a horizontal slice parallel to the wood. This pops out the material as a clean wedge, leaving a fresh joint. With old caulk gone, use a brush attachment on your shop vacuum to remove loose debris. This step prevents microscopic dust from ruining the seal of your new materials. Now we isolate the work zone. Take blue painter's tape, which is designed for finished surfaces, and slide it tightly underneath the bottom edge of the base shoe to protect your floors. After taping, use a flat edge like a putty knife to aggressively knife it down. This forcibly expels air bubbles and creates a watertight seal against the floorboards. If you skip knifing down the tape, paint will bleed beneath the loose edge. Once it hits the floor, it can travel through the microscopic capillary grain of the hardwood and leave a permanent stain. Meticulous clearing and aggressive barrier sealing are the only ways to isolate your work zone. You have to secure this perimeter before you introduce any wet layers. With the perimeter secure, we can rebuild the surface. Take a small amount of wood filler and push it deeply into the sunken nail. Get in from multiple directions to eliminate any air pockets. Once the filler dries, use 150 grit sandpaper to smooth the patches. Attack the outer edges first to knock down the hard crust. Then gently smooth out the center of the patch until it's flush with the wood. Vacuum the baseboards one more time to clear away the new layer of sanding dust and maintain a clean surface for the primer. Next, apply a multi-surface primer. We are working with 3 different materials: the organic wood, the porous wood filler, and the plastic base shoe. The primer chemically unifies all 3 into a single cohesive surface. Apply the primer aggressively. Jam the brush bristles deep into the corners and the top gap between the wood and the drywall to ensure total coverage. The primer provides a textured surface that actively allows your heavy caulking layer to bond permanently to the wall. To control the volume of your caulk, avoid cutting a massive opening in the tube. Instead, snip a tiny hole at a 45-degree angle near the very tip of the nozzle. Load the tube into your dripless caulk gun. The pressure control of a dripless gun allows you to lay down a thin, consistent bead of paintable siliconized latex along the entire gap. To smooth the bead, keep a wet rag nearby to moisten your finger. Use your wet finger to actively force the caulk down deep into the gap, leaving a beautifully clean, beveled finish. If you're worried about messes, apply masking tape both above and below the gap. This acts as a fail-safe to capture any overflow, allowing you to peel away the excess and leave a perfectly straight line. After the caulk dries, apply 2 coats of finish paint. Make sure you wait at least 1 full hour between the first and second coats to allow for proper curing. During that hour, you can keep your brush fresh by suspending it in the paint can so the bristles stay above the bottom and draping a wet rag over the top to keep the air out. Once the second coat is finished, remove the floor tape. Score the seam between the tape and the painted baseboard with a utility knife before peeling it back to ensure the paint line stays sharp. By managing the volume of your materials and maintaining your boundaries, you prevent the messy structural failures common in most DIY projects. Look at the finished result. The baseboards are smooth, the nail holes have disappeared, and the bottom edge meets the hardwood floor with a clean, professional line. Compare this to where we started. The initial mess of bumps, cracked joints, and floor stains has been replaced by clean, sharp trim. To save your materials for the next project, roll a tight rubber cap over the tip of your caulk tube. This creates an airtight seal that keeps the latex from drying out. This sequence proves that caulk and paint makes a carpenter what he ain't. Systematic preparation and layered sealing mask physical flaws, giving any room a clean, high-end finish.